Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? I hope you had a really brilliant New Year's Eve, the 31st. I had a good time in Pattaya on the beach there watching the fireworks. It was a lot of fun and very tiring though, a lot of people down there. Finally back in my apartment in Bangkok. Good to be home, as they say. Okay, we're into 2025 and I'm about to read out my first viewer story of the year. Now I say story and not stories because originally this one story that was sent to me would have taken me around an hour to read out. I've managed to cut it down to about 30 minutes, my usual upload time, and it's a very nice, interesting story. I hope you're going to enjoy this one. Now, the background video that you're watching while I read out this story this week is a walk I recently did from Benjikiti Park. I walked over to Asok and then along to Sukhumvit Road and basically filmed what was going on around me. So I hope you're going to enjoy watching that. Let's get into this very interesting one story today.
สวัสดีค่ะ
This is my story of my first trip to the land of smiles. A bit of a backstory. My friends and I have been talking about going to Thailand for 5 years, but due to various reasons, it never happened year on year. I was hoping to round up the guys last year for my 40th birthday to celebrate in style. However, I was let down again. I ended up going to Thailand with just one good friend. We booked a hostel for the first 2 nights. They didn't allow guests, which was fine because we were not fussed about mongering at this point. We checked in at about 9 p.m, went for something to eat and then walked along Khalsan Road from top to bottom, taking in all the bars and the atmosphere. When we got to the end, we saw a rooftop bar called Rockall Rooftop View Bar, which had a nice relaxing live band and a great view of Bangkok. After a couple of drinks, my friend said he wasn't feeling like having a heavy session and we can just get up early the next day and sightsee. I said, that's okay. We had been travelling for 17 hours after all and we'll just have a few more and call it a night. We hit the bars one after another on Khalsan Road and within the space of about 3 hours, we were hammered. I remember we found this bar only by chance while going to the toilet from a bar on the opposite side of the road. They had a live rock band on, perfect. After a few more bars, we went to a nightclub. I think we learned at that point by being a bit generous, the Thais will go out of their way to make your time extra special and more fun. Once out of the club, we were heading to the hostel and my friend was stumbling all over the place. There is food and carts on both sides of the footpath. And I remember thinking to myself, he is going to go down any minute now. And yep, soon enough, he did. He tipped over some boxes of food and hit the deck and smashed his face on the floor. People were quick to go over and help him, but he was out of it. I don't actually remember how we got him back to the hostel in the end. I remember waking up the next morning, seeing my friend, and he had a massive black eye. We went for food and tried to piece together the events of the nights before and how it escalated so quickly. What I did notice towards the end of the night was a lot of ladyboys and freelancers everywhere. The next day, we realised that if we are going to go out drinking, most nights we will not be able to see the sights as we had written off our first day completely. So, the second night in Khalsan Road, we decided to have a more sensible night. Whilst sitting having a cocktail next to a bar converted from a truck, a Thai woman shouted at us from the street saying, I remember you from last night. You drunk. I help you back to your hotel. You offer me 20 baht, but I say no. I said, thank you, we were very drunk. Everyone around us started laughing. Both of us could not remember the Thai lady at all, but we are glad she looked after us and we had a chance to thank her the next day. We decided the best thing for us to do was to hit all the sites we wanted to see in Bangkok in one day. That means hiring a tuk-tuk to get around quickly. So, whilst out, we asked half a dozen drivers how much to take us around Bangkok from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Most tuk-tuk drivers said 3,000 baht. Then we found one who said 2,000 baht. We went through our plan in detail so there was no confusion and he agreed. We thought we had a great deal. We exchanged numbers and said we would meet at 9 a.m. the next day. Our tuk-tuk driver arrived at 8 a.m. We weren't ready and we had to check out early because that night we were going over to Sukhumvit Soi 8 to check into the Staple Lodge Hotel. We quickly packed our luggage and left to visit many places, including the Grand Palace, a number of temples, Chinatown, etc. Whenever we left a place, we would send a photo to our tuk-tuk driver and he would know where we was and to pick us up. It was definitely the best way to get around Bangkok quickly. After a walk around Chinatown with our tuk-tuk driver in tow, we then wanted to go to the Sky Bar from the film Hangover. We left for the journey back to our hostel and got back for 6 p.m. My friend thought it would be a good idea to ask our driver if he wanted to take us to the next hotel in Sukhumvit Soi 8, to which he agreed. Our first night in Sukhumvit and our destination had to be Nanaplaza. Where else? We headed to Hooters on Soi 4 for some food first. We then headed into Nanaplaza. We went into the go-go bars not really knowing what to expect. We went into the first one on the ground floor on the left called Lollipop. The girls sat around us out the front and joined us and within seconds asked us for a drink. Not really knowing what to do, we said okay. Within 5 minutes they asked for another. The waitress then asked for one and they said, "What about the mama-san? She hasn't had a drink." My friend said yes, okay, fine. We were in there for 10 minutes maximum and our bar tab was already 1,700 baht. I pulled my friend away from the girl he was talking to and I said, "Look, we have to find a strategy here because if we carry on like this, we are going to blow all our money and pretty quickly." We agreed our tactics when going forward was to pick up the girls that we liked or whoever approached us and buy them a couple of drinks. If we weren't feeling the place or them, then we would move on. We also agreed not to buy the waitresses or mama-sans any drinks unless we have been there a while and they looked after us. Our plan was to visit as many bars as possible. This also stopped me from bar finding a lot of girls because me and my friend used each other as an excuse to get out of a particular bar if one of us started getting carried away. Inside Lollipop, I was sat there watching the girls on stage and I could feel someone looking at me to my right. So I looked. When you make eye contact with these girls, that's it. They have you 9 times out of 10. I met my first beauty, Noi. We were talking and I said, "I bet you can't dance as good as the other girls on stage." So she got up and there done her thing. Wow, she blew me away. I asked her how much the bar fine was and her fee, just out of interest. She stated her bar fine was 1,000 baht and she wanted 4,000 baht for short time. I said, "No, it's too much, maybe 3,000 baht and I would think about it." Anyway, we decided to leave and she gave me her number and asked me to return the next day. I said I'd try. Next stop was Angel Witch. It was pretty quiet, but as soon as I sat down, this girl jumped on me and started shoving her tongue down my throat. I was taken back because I didn't think Thais kissed in public, but I quickly realised in the go-go bars, all rules are out the window. Her name was Nat, and she was so much fun. She was jumping around all over the place. She was a little pocket rocket. She also wanted me to bar fine her 1,000 baht bar fine and 3,000 baht short time, but she wanted long time for 5,000 baht. I found generally the going rate was about 3,000 baht short time and 5 to 6,000 baht long term. She only asked me for one drink and we were in there well over an hour. We went to one more go-go bar in the corner, but it was not very good and they all started to close. We were disappointed they closed so early, but we headed back to the hotel and called it a night. The next day, we decided to go for a Thai massage. We walked into a shop that looked professional. The massage started and she was strong for a little woman and the massage was good. Back done, I then turned over, face up. She started massaging my legs and went higher up. After we finished, I met up with my friend. He asked if I'd had any extras and I said yes, of course. Our second night on Soi 4, we decided to go into one of the bars on Soi 4 where they had live music. My friend had a woman latch onto him straight away. She pulled a friend over and I said, "No, thank you. I just wanted to have a couple of drinks and watch the band and I didn't want any company at this moment." However, within the space of 20 minutes, 2 more girls came over, but again, I said thanks, but I'm okay. My friend said, "What's the matter with you? Don't be so moody." I did feel bad turning the last girl away and she was very attractive. Her name was Na. So I went up to the bar where she was sitting and I took her to our table and bought her some drinks and she was a really sweet girl and I'm glad I spent some time with her. Again, she wanted me to bar fine her, but I said we have to go to other bars, so she gave me her phone number and we continued to text while in Bangkok, but I never went back to see her. We then hit Billboard Gogo Bar, which was great fun, with the girls in a jacuzzi and on a carousel stage that goes round. The Go-Go was very busy, and because the girls are mostly on stage, you don't get harassed for drinks by the girls or the waitresses, the staff, so you can actually sit there and enjoy the sights. We then went to Spanky's on the second floor, which I really enjoyed. In the meantime, Noi from Lollipop was texting me asking if I was going to the bar and she will wait for me. I said I'll try. It was closing time at 2 a.m, so we left the bar, walked towards the exit. Noi and her friend were out the front of Lollipop and they spotted us, so we went over. The manager said, "Are you two going to bar fine these girls?" I said, "No way, it's the end of the night, look, it's 2 o'clock. She looked a little annoyed at this. Noi said to me, "Go to the entrance of Nanaplaza and wait for her and her friend," so we didn't have to pay the bar fine and the Mama-san wouldn't see us meeting up. And we would go to a nightclub. I said, "Great, okay," and my friend liked the other girl also, so all looked good. We caught a taxi to a nightclub called Mix. Once finished, we left for food. Noi ordered for all of us. The food kept coming out, one meal after another, but then 1, 2, 3, more dishes came out to the table. After the third plate, I said, "Have you done ordering yet?" Noi said yes, no more food. I've heard of the restaurant scam, and I was waiting to see if they wasted most of the food so they could take it home for their friends. But no, the girls literally ate everything. I said to my friend, "Darn, Thai girls can eat." We headed to our hotel rooms. We had fantastic aerobics, and she left in the morning. Before she came back to my hotel, we agreed 3,000 baht. After she left, she texted me to say she arrived home safe and if I was ever in Bangkok again to message her. The next 2 nights we allocated for soicowboy, or so I thought. We walked from Soi 8 to soicowboy. We then entered a go-go bar, which I didn't realise until after we went in has lots of bad reviews online for ripping people off. We went in and straight away I saw a girl who was incredible. Her name was Anna. She sat with me and my friend, who also chose a girl. We had a great time with lots of banter, touching and winding each other up. The boss, who was a woman, came over to us and offered us a VIP table, so we moved to a booth. Because we started spending a lot of money in there, the boss bought us a few drinks, so we bought 1 or 2 in return. She kept coming over to us and sitting with us. I told her that my drink was weak and not much alcohol was in it, but that was just because the ice had melted by that point. She said, "Okay," got me 2 more drinks and must have got the joke because she filled up the Samson to the top of the glass. It blew my head off when I had a sip. Anna said, "You're not drinking that. It's too strong. You'll be drunk." She emptied half and topped the glass up with soda. Anna never hassled me for drinks, even when it was her time to go up on stage to dance. I told Anna we were heading to Pattaya soon, and she was not happy about that, and she wanted me to return to see her. I asked her how much the bar fine was, and it was 1,500 baht, which put me off, but Anna said she only wanted 3,000 baht for long time, which was a bargain, as girls usually ask for 5,000 or 6,000 baht for the night. Me and my friend decided to leave. However, because we had more bars we wanted to visit, we went to some more bars in soicowboy, and the bars were very good. The girls were very attractive, but I couldn't get Anna out of my mind. It was nearing 2 a.m. and the bar started to close. I texted Anna, but she didn't reply. I'm guessing she got bar fined by someone else. I had to sacrifice a great night with Anna to visit as many bars as possible on soicowboy, and that was the price I paid. Guys, learn from my mistake. If you really like a girl, then just bar fine her, because if not, someone else will. We were due to head to Pattaya and we would not have another night in soicowboy, and my chance of seeing Anna again had gone. My friend said we could just stay in Bangkok an extra night, and whilst we were tempted, we also only had 6 nights in Pattaya, so we were keen to head down there so we can visit all the areas we had on our list. We arrived in Pattaya at 9 p.m. As soon as we got out of the taxi, there were ladies screaming at us from the bars across the street, which was a nice welcome. We quickly got ready and headed out. We went into that bar opposite to say hello to the girls. They were kind of older ladies in there, but they were great fun and gave us some advice on how to stay safe in Pattaya. One woman wanted me to bar fine her there and then. The bar fine was 400 baht and she wanted 1,000 baht. I thought, wow, this is cheap compared to Bangkok, but I told her we've just arrived and we want to look around first. I said to my friend that we could have made a mistake going in that bar because these girls recognize you and know your movements, but it turned out fine because we made sure we popped in before going out for the next 3 days. We headed to one or two soys, including soy chayapun, going into various bars, and we ended up on soy honey. I can't remember what the bar was called, but we were sitting there people watching, and there was a girl who wasn't wearing the same uniform as the other girls. My friend really liked her, and I must admit she was really attractive. I said to him, ask her if she wanted a drink, but he was reluctant. So I called her over. My friend and this girl were hitting it off. I ended up with a girl who was nice, but she didn't really do anything for me, but I stayed with her for my friend's sake. I told my friend to bar fine his girl. He said no, to which I was surprised. After we left the bar, I said to him, you're crazy. She was incredible, and I couldn't believe he didn't take that girl out of the bar. He then said, look, I would have liked to have taken her, but it would have been like buying a Ferrari and not being able to drive it. I got the message. I laughed and said, okay, fair enough. He was tired from all the travelling that day. We got back to the hotel and had a drink, and I remember feeling deflated on our first night in Pattaya. I think I still had a serious case of the Bangkok blues, and I'm guessing I was still sulking about not going back to soicowboy and seeing Anna. After Bangkok, my friend was struggling to keep up, and he needed an afternoon's sleep before we went out on the night, and that continued for the rest of our holidays, which was fine. He was 12 years older than me. Whilst we were in Pattaya, I started to take advantage of this. I was always wary about leaving him for long periods of time and wanted to stay together as much as possible, which we did. However, in Pattaya, our routine was pretty much wake up at 2 to 3 p.m, go for something to eat, then go to a few bars, then back to the hotel for my friend's sleep session, and then back out again. So occasionally, when we went to a few bars in the afternoon, I would use this opportunity to start bar fining girls for a short time while my friend slept, then go back out again afterwards. This worked very well. The next afternoon, whilst walking back to our hotel, we stumbled across a few hidden away bars in a back street. A girl caught my eye and we played some pool. She couldn't speak much English at all, and the girl who was with my friend seemed to be coaching her. I asked to bar fine her and I asked how much. Her friend jumped in and said, short time only because early afternoon and she can go back to the bar and get more customers. I said, look, that's fine. That's what I wanted anyway. Her name was and she looked like a model. I couldn't believe my luck. When I was in the bar with her, I could see other men eyeing her up, waiting for me to leave or go to the bathroom, so I didn't waste any time. I took her back to the hotel for aerobics. She was gone by the time my friend was ready to go back out again, so this system worked pretty good. Our next couple of nights were in LK Metro and Walking Street. In LK Metro, we were visiting some good bars. An attractive girl dragged us into a go-go bar. I walked halfway in, and all of a sudden my friend shouted, Ray, turn around. I thought, what the hell is he going on about? So I turned around, and he then said, ladyboys everywhere. We were in a ladyboy bar. I looked around at the talent in there and said to my friend, so what? We're here now, and we may as well stay for a few and check it out. It could be fun. I can tell you all now, we had a great time with the ladyboys in there. Straight away, we had one each and got them a drink. Mine was relaxed while my friend's girl was all over him. It was funny. Mine then said she had to go to dance. The one outside who had dragged us in came inside, so I called her over and asked her if she wanted a drink. She agreed and we talked for a while, but then I asked if she was a ladyboy too. She said yes. I was amazed because she/he was a stunner. After 10 minutes, my first ladyboy came off the stage and said, you buy me drink, you like me, why you buy her a drink? The other girl quickly scarpered and I thought, uh-oh, she isn't happy. I tried to talk to her and said, it's okay, I can buy two girls drinks, but she just gave me the silent treatment from then on. I thought to myself, damn, My first time in a ladyboy bar, and I could have ended up getting beat up or something for upsetting the ladies, haha. We were in there for a while. It was good fun in there, and after an hour or so, you start to forget where you are. It's a weird feeling. I can remember looking at the dancers on stage wearing next to nothing, thinking, where the heck do they tuck it? I couldn't see any signs of anything. Maybe the alcohol was getting to me. The bars started to close and my friend wanted to head back, but I wasn't tired, so thought I would go to a massage parlour. I found one, and an attractive woman took me up and gave me a pathetic massage. But to be fair, for about 20 minutes, but we both knew what I went in there for, what was my real purpose. The massage place had about 10 beds in an upstairs room with curtains around each one. She then told me to turn over and said, I give you aerobics 2,000 baht. She wasn't messing about. I said no, 1,500. She said no, have to pay massage shop money for room. I said, all right, just an extra service for 500 baht. She then said, okay, 1,500 baht, everything. I went to pay and I only had 2,000 baht, no change. So I just gave it to her, but I didn't have to pay for the massage downstairs like other places when you leave. We headed up Soi 7 off the beach road to the A7 DJ bar. We went into this bar the day before and the girls said we should come back tomorrow at 5 p.m. because they do a YouTube live stream from there. So we did. As soon as we arrived, the girls were screaming and we were keen to see the setup and get ourselves on camera if we could. We were buying the girls on the couch drinks, sat on a table, pressing the buzzer. Girls were screaming and cheering whenever we bought drinks, and the manager returned the favour by giving us free drinks in return. We had an awesome time, surrounded by lots of beautiful girls, and being there was definitely one of the highlights. It was such a buzz. When I watched the YouTube live stream once home, every time the girls screamed, I knew it was because of us, and we did it on camera a few times. Even the host stopped talking at one point because the girls were going crazy, and he said, sorry guys, we have some mongers in the bar. The next day, we moved hotels from Soi Lenki over to Soi 5 and stayed at the Paradise Resort Hotel, which was really nice and ready for us to hit Soi 6 for the last 3 nights in Thailand. We decided to go into the first bar that we got dragged into. It didn't take long, and the girl that dragged me in was another very hot girl. I found out that she was 35, although she looked 25. I bar-fined her and took her upstairs for aerobics. I told my friend when he was ready to leave for his sleep session, I would meet him back at the hotel. After a rest, we went back to Soi 6, working our way down the street. I then bar-fined another girl who was all over me as soon as I walked into the bar. I could not resist. This time, I told my friend I will be quick, only 20 minutes. Once we finished, we walked back downstairs into the bar and all the girls were cheering. I walked to my friend and realised the shutters were down, with my friend the only one left in the bar. The bar was closed. My friend said, where have you been? You said you were going to be 20 minutes and you have been an hour and a half. I've spent 7,000 baht in this place. We laughed and went to find another bar that was open. It was 3 a.m. and most bars were shut apart from a few. We found an open bar called The Spot, Soi 6. We got our girls pretty quickly. At 4 a.m. they pulled the shutters down and they said we can stay for a lock-in. We continued partying until 6 a.m. We headed to Central Road to a cafe for some late breakfast, which was a quiet street, but before we got there, we saw a small bar with girls shouting at us from across the street, and one girl looked incredibly fit. So we ate. My friend said, you want to go to that bar, don't you? I said, yep. We headed there, and I started talking to this girl. Her name was Faye. And after 20 minutes, she asked me to bar-fine her. She was incredibly attractive. When I agreed, I asked her how much, and she just said, up to you. Her friend then came over and quickly said, 2,000 baht, which was okay. I was happy with that. All the girls were hugging her as if it was a big deal that she got bar-fined. Back to the hotel for aerobics, she then asked me to join her to meet her and have drinks with her friends. I said no because I wanted to go back out with my friend later that evening to Soi 6. So she said, okay, I go then, meet you after and look after you. I agreed. She gave me her number. She must have thought I bar-fined her a long time, but it wasn't really what I wanted. Anyway, whilst out drinking later that evening, she texted me saying she would come and meet me, but she was still on Soi 6. I told her to continue drinking with her friends and I'll meet her later. Anyway, that backfired in a sense because her friend got really drunk and she didn't want to leave her. She was sending me photos and videos throughout the night and she wasn't making it up. Her friend was in a bad way. I think she felt bad not coming back because she kept apologizing and wanted to meet me the next day and she wouldn't go into work, but I said, no, it's fine. On our last night in Thailand, we planned on hitting Soi 6 hard. Before getting there, we went into the bar at the end of Soi 5 to play some pool before heading to Soi 6. But then something unexpected happened. I clocked an attractive-looking girl, but she was surrounded by ladyboys. Another stunner approached me in a green short dress. Her name was Nock. We started playing pool against my friend and his new lady friend. I asked her if the girl across the bar was a ladyboy. She said yes. Don't you like ladyboys? I said no. I then asked her if she was a ladyboy. She said yes, I am. I said no way, you're joking. We sat down after playing pool and talked. She said she saw me in the bar last night but dares not approach me because she thought me and my friend were gay. I laughed now. I'm not the best pool player, but I didn't realise when I played I looked so camp. But maybe I do. My friend mentioned he was hungry to this girl. She mentioned this to Nock and she said, do you want to go and eat? I asked my friend and he was up for it. We both thought we would go out for food with these girls and then come back and drop them off at the bar. But when we paid the bar bill, we realised we had just bar-fined these girls. The girls took us to a restaurant opposite the entrance to Walking Street, right on the beach with the great views. Really romantic setting. Again, the girls ordered loads of food and ate the lot. By the end of the meal, I really started to like Nock. I was smitten and we had an instant connection. She had me under her spell completely. The girls were talking between themselves and at one point I put on my translator app on voice record. I managed to catch Nock say on the app to her friend that she really liked me, but soon we go shower and boom boom and then she leaves. Her friend said, life of a bar girl. They went to the toilet and my friend said, what happened to our crazy night on Soi 6? I told him that I really like this girl and let's see where the night goes. He wasn't really into his girl, but I asked him to take one for the team. I had sat with a number of girls I wasn't into on this holiday, so he could help me out on this occasion. He said okay, but he wanted to get rid of her before going back to the hotel. I said good luck with that. The girls then took us to Soi 8 to a few bars with live bands and it was a nice night. At about 11 p.m, Nock wanted to go back to her bar to get her clothes for the morning after. When we got there, she said, do you want one drink? I said okay. She then asked if I wanted to play pool with her against two of her bar friends. Again, I said okay. We lost, and when I sat down, Nock then said, you now have to buy my friends drinks because they won. I was not happy about this because they hadn't told me beforehand, but I reluctantly agreed to save face and not embarrass Nock. But Nock could tell by my face I was not happy. We had a great aerobic session. We lay there cuddling and talking with the help of the translator app for the rest of the night until the early hours. My friend did end up taking his girl back because he was too much of a nice guy to say he wasn't interested, but he had no aerobics with her. She didn't ask him for any money the next day, but he gave her 1,000 baht anyway. The next day, we had to check out at noon and head for our flight to Beijing. I had breakfast with Nock and went back to the room. We spent more time talking and cuddling until checkout time. I did really like her, but I'm under no illusion that I am one of many. She said she liked me and that many men wanted her, but she won't settle down unless she really loves them, and that's why she is 27 with no children. She told me I made her feel good, and now I'm leaving her. At that moment, she started to cry. If they were fake crocodile tears, then she must have been a pro bar girl. But I took it at face value, and I guess these girls sometimes do get attached to the people they meet at the bars, but I told her not to cry. She then said she would pay her bar fine and go with me to the airport. I told her I didn't want her to do that. It was fine. We said our goodbyes, exchanged numbers, and she said to keep in touch and return to Thailand soon to see her. I was shattered to have met Nock on our last night, but I was also relieved. If I would have met her earlier in my holiday, things would have been very different. I think I would have probably ended up spending every day with her, and then I would have been in trouble if I did fall properly for this girl. I gave up my last crazy night in Thailand for this girl, and she made me feel good, and I will always remember the night we had together. What I didn't realise until I actually came to Thailand is that when you take these girls out of the bars for a long time, I assumed you just took them back to the hotel and you get them overnight instead of 1 or 2 hours. However, all of the girls I met wanted to go out partying and for meals, all of which you have to pay for on top of their fee. I also found out a lot of these girls work up to 7 days a week, so given the opportunity to get out of the bar, they will take it to go out and enjoy themselves and take you along for the ride, which is all good if you don't mind paying. Me and my friend went to a few more bars before heading to Bangkok airport. I was texting Nok and told her we were sat on the plane heading to Beijing. We were feeling slightly depressed for leaving. Then Nok and her friend FaceTimed us to say goodbye. Seeing their beautiful, cheerful faces and them waving goodbye to us put big smiles on our faces, and that was nice of them to do that. We then spent a few days in Beijing. The nightlife wasn't anywhere near as good as Thailand. Nowhere is. The first night out, after a few drinks, my friend turned to me and said, "I think I have the Thailand blues." I replied, "Yeah, me too." In any event, Beijing was cool with a lot of history, and we had a good few days there before heading back to England. One more thing, since returning home, I've kept in touch with Nok to see how long it would take for it to either fizzle out or how long it would take her to ask me for money, at which point I would cut ties. It has been a month since leaving Thailand, and so far, so good. At one point, she returned home because her dad was sick. I have listened to most of the viewers' stories on your channel, Peter, so I'm aware of the things these girls can say and just get money from foreigners. I thought, here we go, it's starting, but no, her dad sadly passed away and she was sending me regular photos and FaceTiming me at her home, and I got to briefly speak to some of her family members, but no money was asked for. I was then waiting for the "I want to stay home and look after my family, give me money" line. She did say she wanted to stay at home and look after her mum, but didn't ask for money. Whilst at her home, I feel like I got to know the real Nok for a while. She is now back in Pattaya, and we still text and FaceTime regularly, but nothing after 8 p.m. because that's when she is busy doing her thing, I guess. So who knows what will happen in the future. I expect things will get less frequent and for her to move on and forget about me in time, or maybe she will continue to touch base occasionally on the off chance I will someday return to Thailand. We had an amazing trip to Thailand, and I'm really glad my friend came with me to share the memories we will no doubt both remember for the rest of our lives. Without him, I probably wouldn't have made it to the land of smiles, and for that, I will be forever grateful to him. Hopefully, we will return one day. I hope you and your listeners enjoy my story on my first time to Thailand. I have listened to all your viewers' stories over the last few years, and I have learned a lot before I headed out to the land of smiles. Although no real crash and burn story from me, I hope there are one or two things your viewers can take away from my story. So, you know, as I said at the beginning, that was just the one story for this week's upload. But what made it really nice for me, the guy sent me a bunch of photographs, which I can't show you. When people send me photos, they're for my eyes only. That's what people say. And then, you know, I have to delete them. But what was great about this story is every step of the way, the guy included a photograph with a heading. So it'd be like something like photo number 6, me and Faye in her bar. And all the way through the story, I had a set of photographs. So I could keep going back to the photograph. So when I was listening to the story, it made it really easy for me to conjure this all up in my mind and imagine what a good time he had in Thailand. So I suspect that probably was his first time. I really believe it won't be his last time if he had so much fun. And to anybody who's sitting on the fence and you're thinking, wow, these stories sound a lot of fun, Pattaya sounds great, I wouldn't mind going there. Guys, it's reachable. It doesn't cost that much. Jump on a plane, save a little bit of money first, go out there, you have a real good time in Thailand. Okay, right, that's it once again from me. Thanks for listening. A lot of waffle at the end there. I'll be back next Saturday. Hopefully there'll be some more news stories. This story that I've read out to you today, I've never read out on my channel. I don't know if the guy sent it to other channels, but definitely brand new to me. Thanks for listening to me. I'll catch up with you next Saturday. And whatever you're doing in the week, have a real good week. Thanks again, guys.